What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley, and of course, that is the one and only Scott Savage. Scott, what's going on, man?
I got on to some Halo last night because I wanted to check out Forge.
Yeah, and
there's a couple really interesting things in the popular tab already that look really good, but I have no idea how to use it at all. My memory from Halo 3 does not serve me well.
Is it something you're going to stick around with? Because I want to check it out too. I think we might jump in tonight. We'll see.
Not yet, just because I really don't know how to even manipulate objects or spawn them in, for that matter. I had a really weird time.
Man, sounds like it's already confusing, which then takes away from the bigger grasp of the community jumping in, right? So,
yeah, it's not Fortnite creative. It's not that by a mile.
Yeah, wow. Which is funny because they have so much to pull off of from Fortnite and other things, and that's not like they haven't done Forge themselves, right? So I don't know. I'm gonna jump in. I want to take a look. Do you think it will cater more to the PC side than it will to the console?
Oh, it was Bungie that did the Forge originally, so I think that's maybe the issue.
Oh, you really? Oh man, time will tell, Scott. But what time it is? It's 11 a.m. Eastern, where people can join us live every day, Monday to Friday, at twitch.tv/the-official ITG, as well as YouTube at ITG. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later inside the game.ca podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. Scott, coming up on today's show, it's a good episode. Sony could be working on creating a Horizon MMO. Interesting. It'll be coming to consoles, well, PlayStation 4 and 5, and mobile. Genshin Impact. Call of Duty Modern Warfare II working on DLC for 2023 and bringing a very controversial mission next year. And Take-Two CEO doesn't think Xbox Game Pass makes sense to launch games on day one for the platform.
Yeah, I'm a bit puzzled by that. But.
Well, yeah, I got some thoughts on that one. We will get there. Let's get into it. This is Sammy Baker over at Push Square. Sony might be making a Horizon MMO, and it could come to phones. There's a strong speculation coming out of Korea that Sony has signed a deal with developer NCSoft to create a MMO adaptation of its best-selling Horizon franchise. The studio is best known for its uber-popular releases like Lineage and Guild Wars, but which is big in Asia. Although the report is local publication, MTN claims that the company is gunning for a global success here. Well, with Horizon, Scott, it would be a little bit different, I think. Judging from the wording in the report, it sounds like the ink is still a little wet for this deal. So, if accurate, it'll still be very early stages of development. Interesting though, PlayStation has been hiring a Korean translator with the job location listed in Amsterdam, which of course is where Guerrilla Games is, Scott.
Okay.
So they'll be working side by side. Will we get this, Scott? Is that something that you would jump into? I know I'm down.
Yeah, I know you'd be interested for sure. I'd be very curious to see what goes on there, but I've only played one Horizon game. I'm not quite certain how you could make an MMO fit within that universe.
It's an
without becoming generic, for lack of a better word.
We got more though as well from Famitsu. Recently posted. PS Studios boss Herman Hulst said, "We believe that developing titles that are suitable for mobile and releasing crossplay between console and mobile is also an important initiative." Scott, this could be coming. Like, this really could be an opportunity here. Horizon Forbidden West was much bigger than Horizon Zero Dawn. The landscape of pooling, I wasn't really thinking MMO. Like, I don't know. This better not be a subscription service. Like if that's what that does, dude, we're in a whole other world here. And like the World of Warcraft stuff isn't really what I see PlayStation bending their strategy towards. Right? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I'm not certain that Horizon could sustain something like that in the same way that Warcraft was so big and made a name for itself that way. DC Universe Online was massive, but even they had to reverse their subscription model.
Yep. No, absolutely. It's
I think it's unlikely that we'll see a subscription model thing now. I don't know if anybody other than Warcraft does that still.
I don't know if anybody does at this point, right?
RuneScape's always had like a membership upgrade, where you get like a premium versus a freemium, but that's as far as I could see it going.
Yeah, I'll be very curious to watch how this all plays out and what that model looks like. Are we going to go more of the way of like Genshin Impact? I think would be the other side of it, right? Where you're now paying for characters and things like that, and that game has made a juggernaut of amount of money, so they're doing really well over there. Can they cater that style though to the Horizon fan base and pull us in and then others as well? Or are they looking to kind of almost bypass the Horizon fan base, which sounds weird to say, but pull in a different audience for what this model will look like? Because really, I'm not an MMO player. You're not an MMO player. We're there. We're playing single player games. We're playing multiplayer games, but not in that MMO sense, right? Yeah. So I wonder how they could really kind of span this around. I'm sure you can get into guilds and all that kind of stuff. Dude, that'd be super cool. There are factions. Like, you could introduce factions here, Scott, that you can join up and group up with and then go out and do a raid and do a bunch of other quests and things like that and rebuild the world. Dude, you could go rebuild the world from the ground up, right? Because it is like busted down. I don't know.
How limited would it be, though, if it's going to work with mobile platforms, though? That seems like it kind of sacrifices some of the depth.
Dude, Genshin Impact is on mobile and console, though. Is it really sacrificing?
Feels like technologically that's 15 years old, though.
Well, so here's the difference, right? If you take a look at Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West, those are fantastic and they are beautiful looking games. Bringing those over to mobile, because there is such a wide range of devices, you're no longer just focused on like the PlayStation 4 and 5. You now then have to branch out a little bit, maybe kind of lessen the quality on some of these things. So do they have two teams? Do they have two teams then?
I bet Aloy has more pixels, polygons in her hair than Genshin Impact has on an entire continent.
Well, it's funny. I was looking into how they create their worlds a little bit. It's very unique in some of the terminology. And then they really, what they do is they use, because the way the world looks and works, is it's a flat texture, but actually the way you look at it makes it look like it's 3D. It's quite cool.
They're doing the good old... was it Doom that did that first?
You might be right. So I was watching a couple things. Dude, it's cool because the game looks gorgeous. It's got a unique art style. Kind of reminds me of that Zelda Breath of the Wild look, in a sense, right? Where Aloy doesn't have that style. Dude, she doesn't look like that. Right? You see the eyelashes. You see the hair, each little strand of hair weaving through.
Remember, there's the skin, the fuzz on her skin was pointed out to by some critic that thought that meant beard.
Yeah.
But that shows you the level of detail, though, in the models.
Yeah, but granted, now moving into the latest phone technology, like, do they have a cutoff point maybe when they open this up to the broader audience and go, you know what, if you have the latest iPhone and Android phone, and then maybe then you could be able to play with the others over on PS4 and PS5. Maybe
Yeah,
they
there would
have a
have to be
cutoff
some
time.
sort of restriction there because even
Yeah.
Pokemon Go has a restriction that way.
There you go. So definitely curious to see what's going to happen. But if the ink's not even dry yet, Scott, we are a long time away from seeing anything come out of this, right? We're going to be 5-6 years, and it's an MMO, so there's going to be a lot going on under the hood. Not just here's your single player experience. Now it's how do we keep our community coming back day in, day out, and what's that look like to keep everybody invested? So. But speaking about invested, Scott, it's Call of Duty time. Modern Warfare 2 campaign expansion set to remake controversial mission. This comes from Edwin over at Gaming Bible. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is getting a single player expansion that looks set to remake one of the series' most infamous missions, according to the new report.
This is the one I've been waiting for.
Back in October, rumors began to circulate that suggested 2023's Call of Duty wouldn't be a new game at all. Rather, fans could expect a substantial expansion and extra support for the recently released Modern Warfare 2. This expansion is apparently set to contain new DLC maps, a new single-player campaign that follows on from the ending of the most recent single-player adventure. Now, Bloomberg reporter and trusted industry insider Jason Schreier has taken to Twitter to clarify a few things after Activision confirmed that 2023 would see the release of a new premium Call of Duty experience. Scott, we talked about this yesterday with a little speculation on what is going on here. And yeah right? A couple things. But this won't be an entirely new entry. I think that was where the confusion started. Are we getting a brand new Call of Duty experience? Doesn't sound like it. We're getting a premium quality experience of DLC. And here's what's going on. Quote, it's supposed to have lots of content. Maybe that's why they call it a full release, Schreier explained. But it's more Modern Warfare 2. While we don't yet know for sure exactly what will be in the expansion, it sure sounds like an entirely new game's worth of content. Certainly, if Activision is puffing it up as a premium release. We can expect it to be pretty substantial. Schreier also confirmed in response to one fan that the expansion will include a continuation of Modern Warfare 2's campaign. Given how the new campaign ended, and considering the post-credit scene, it looks very likely that we'll be getting a remake or a variation on the original Modern Warfare 2's Russian mission, Scott.
No Russian
from Scott.
No Russian. I can almost do a macro.
Dude, it's the biggest thing is we talked about it yesterday. Are we getting a brand new release? Because we heard that they're going to take the year off, right? 2023 is going to have nothing new out of Call of Duty. Not exactly. You know what they're doing, Scott, is they're doing the Assassin's Creed Valhalla method. We're not giving you a new game, but here's 50 hours of content for this DLC. Here's 10 hours of this DLC. Here's 30 hours of that DLC. So they keep dropping DLC to keep us in Valhalla. Dude, I'm waiting on the latest Valhalla, the last chapter, to get me back in so I can wrap up the campaign. Because the way that ended, I was like, oh, what? Wait a second.
It just kind of happened.
Dude, I didn't even know I was done, right? Like it was one of those things. So more DLC coming. And then that's where they kind of taken this model from Ubisoft a little bit and going, well, we're not going to have to release a brand new title. We're going to keep it in the realm of Modern Warfare 2, but keep dropping DLC, which keeps you around until we launch the next title in 2024.
I like that they're trying to do that, keep you around, but there's no shortage of content to make them scramble to do that. And it's quite opposite of what's happening with Halo, where it wasn't quite a big enough launch, a solid enough release. Right. That now they're kind of scrambling to pull attention back over. This seems like a much more positive situation. I'm a fan of single-player expansions as well. I don't see that too often.
Especially in Call of Duty. Like, this isn't something we get very often from Call of Duty as a single-player campaign DLC. No, right? I was scratching my head this morning going, have we ever seen DLC in the story campaign? It's always been multiplayer content coming over and expansions on that, but never in the realm of campaign. And this is exciting, dude. I like that idea. What are your thoughts on the Russian mission coming back, though? Because
I'm very surprised. Boy. Yeah, if that works out to be accurate, and it is the no Russian one, well, that's an obscene amount of violence, and it was shocking back in the day.
Yeah,
almost to the point where they had to omit it. They had to put a lot of warnings around it. You could skip that mission. It is quite graphic. So if they're able to do that in the year 2023, I'll be very shocked.
Well, we'll see what happens there. Scott, let's get into Take-Two. CEO says it doesn't make sense to launch day one with Xbox Game Pass. This is over at Pure Xbox from Ben and Fraser. It's the double duos here. Oh boy, here we go again. Much like Sony's recent comments on day one subscription service releases, Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick believes launching frontline titles day and date doesn't make sense from a business perspective. As part of Take-Two's recent quarterly earnings report, Zelnick discussed subscriptions like Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, questioning whether the choice to launch first-party games day one on these services is the right call. Specifically, Zelnick was responding to the question asked about Xbox Game Pass potentially nearing saturation on console, following Phil Spencer's comments that the Xbox Game Pass console growth has been slowing down recently. Quote, I think the second era of skepticism was whether it made sense, and this rhetorical question, because I think the answer is no. To offer frontline titles day and date with titles on subscription service, I don't think that ever made sense. I still don't think it makes sense, and I believe that it's now becoming obvious that it doesn't make sense. It's just a lost opportunity for the publisher. So I wouldn't want to speak for my friend Phil Spencer, but our view remains unchanged. Scott, thoughts?
It seems strange to me that it doesn't make sense. Well, perhaps in a publisher kind of perspective, that does what he's saying could be accurate, but when you're commanding an overall brand, it turns a lot of people to the brand overall. The Game Pass isn't about selling games, it's about selling consoles.
It's about selling the service for Xbox, right? I think they want that Netflix service. We see Netflix go up and they go down, and then they go back up, and then they go back down, depending on what title or what movie or what TV show they're bringing over at the time, right? All of a sudden, the subscriptions will go up. Xbox isn't that different. Right now, Xbox doesn't have any first-party titles, Scott. Wait till Starfield drops. Wait till Fable drops. You'll see an influx of users. When you're Strauss Zelnick coming out of the CEO over at Take-Two, and you just drop GTA 6, there's no way you're putting that on a subscription service. You're going to make $1 billion that day. You're not going to want to put that on a subscription service. Microsoft will not pay you to put that on their service because they couldn't afford it, right?
It'd be a much larger price tag. It's kind of, I think it works best in a second wind capacity.
Yes, right? To create more interest. So here's an example. This is what PlayStation does very often. Horizon Forbidden West was launching. What did they do? They put Horizon Zero Dawn on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
Everybody jumps in and goes, oh man, second one's about to come out. I just wrapped this one up. I'm going to go buy the second one. That's the PlayStation model. Xbox, obviously a little bit different with Game Pass, says day and date, first party titles come to Game Pass. That's the rule, right? Everything. So Starfield, day one on Game Pass. Fable, day one, Game Pass. Redfall, day one out of Bethesda, coming to Game Pass. That's their model. And then if you take a look at the developers from the indie side, Scott, I think they're the ones who really kind of benefit the most from an exposure standpoint as well, right? All of a sudden now, but when you get into Take-Two, if I was Take-Two and I was looking at Marvel's Midnight Suns as an example, dude, nobody knows what this game is. A lot of people question whether or not it's going to be any good. And there's a lot of flags kind of going, what the heck is Firaxis making over here? And what's the point? Nobody wants to drop $80 on that game. Now, some people will, granted, right? I know I want to check it out. This game actually kind of has my interest. A card battler in a unique world of villains and stuff with Marvel. And I'm a big Marvel fan, so I want to check it out. But the easiest way to get the most eyes on it is by dropping it on PlayStation Plus, or you drop it in Xbox Game Pass. Dude, Rocket League succeeded because it came to PlayStation Plus for free day one.
Yeah, it went free to play, and that was just a huge model. It works, and Doom set that standard, I think, forever ago, when you just give away Doom Disc 1 and you'll sell Doom 2.
Right. Hey, what's going on? Thanks. You've been watching for quite a while. Cool. Appreciate that. Dude, it's interesting to see, right? I think it depends on the developer, depends on the game, And if, like I say, if you're dropping GTA 6, why would you put it on a service? That doesn't make any sense. But yet they want to drop you a GTA online subscription model, Scott. Like there's that too, right? Like, so when you talk about services,
yeah,
there's
they're not bound to one console side or the other too.
No, they're not.
That's mainly where the Game Pass day and date comes from. That's the power of that.
Well, it's on Rainbow Six Extraction, Scott, came to Game Pass.
Oh,
because it needed to, right?
That was the way to get all eyes on it.
Exactly. If Ubisoft left that out in the wild, dude, that game would have died. I'm pretty sure it is dead. But sorry, Scott.
Well, they're still running some events, but I haven't looked in a while.
It doesn't have the success of Rainbow Six Siege and what they've built over the years, right? But to get brand new and fresh eyes on this, you drop it in the Game Pass or you bring it to PlayStation Plus. So I think it comes down to a indie developer looking for more exposure, what their thoughts on that, what will Xbox or PlayStation pay them at the time for their services to bring their game there first. Is it worth your while? Do you think that you will make more money in the long run, or do you need that money up front to fund the game so you can launch the game and be ready to go? Like, dude, there's a lot more to it than going, we don't really need to bring this over here. Like, dude, they've also got PGA Tour, right? If you're a golfer fan,
way too many different. It's a difference of perspective, but there's way too many little facets of it to say that it doesn't make sense.
Yep,
that's just lazy. It does from different perspectives in a lot of different ways. Maybe not if you're a publisher. Perhaps you're the one person they're walking around.
Well, maybe, right? What doesn't make sense, though, is Ubisoft refunds. Well, maybe it does. Prince of Persia Remake pre-orders. It's not canceled. Just speaking of Ubisoft, this comes from Marie Delisandri over at GamesIndustry.biz. An update on Ubisoft's website about Prince of Persia, the Sands of Time remake, informed players that their pre-orders will be refunded. Scott.
Makes me nervous.
Oh, this makes me real nervous. On this page, last updated on November 7th, the company highlighted that Prince of Persia, the Sands of Time remake is not canceled. But that, since the game currently does not have a release date, existing pre-orders have been canceled and refunded where applicable. It added that the game is currently still in development at Ubisoft Montreal and that the new release date will not be set yet anytime soon. Scott, we have questions and worries, so many concerns, Scott. Prince of Persia was over in Mumbai, I believe, at Ubisoft, and then taken back over to Ubisoft Montreal so they could straighten it out and fix it.
It's gone through a few restarts so far.
Yeah, it's man,
it's not exactly comforting to me because it makes me worry about the project overall. But I'm glad they've specified it's not canceled, because even if it takes another year, I would still be very excited to play it.
I think it gets canceled. I'm calling it. I think they cancel it. I think this is one game that they are going to just cancel. We'll never see it. Prince of Persia has been gone. They've shifted to Assassin's Creed. That's the money maker right there, right? They're doing the Prince of Persia remake as a fan service, I think, at the end of the day. But how much money have they sunk into this? However, Scott, having said that, how much money do you think they sunk into Skull and Bones? And we're still getting that apparently in March.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's still a puzzling one too. I'm hopeful but worried.
I can't talk about it yet. That's I've got a few things to say. I've got lots to say about that one. It's been an interesting ride watching Ubisoft right now, and the amount of games they've stopped, they've canceled, and readjusted, and the only surviving grace they have right now is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. What else do they really have, Scott? Splinter Cell being remade, apparently, from the ground up for the first one, the original, which is great. Excited. Ghost Recon, dead. Like that they canceled Frontline. They've canceled.
There's a whole lot going on with Assassin's Creed, but that's really their main focus now. And Mirage, I think, being the newest,
which I cannot wait for. Dude, I'm so excited for Mirage, right? An Assassin's Creed going back to the roots. Yeah, that's exactly what I want. Like, man, oh man, I can't wait to go back into that one and get into the old school days of Assassin's Creed. Valhalla took a very different approach, and by the end of it, I actually really did enjoy it, but it's not the Assassin's Creed of yesteryears. And that's what I'm looking forward to getting back into. Definitely missing the Splinter Cell game. They still keep pumping out Siege. We're in for a new season in the next 20 days, I think it is, Scott.
Oh, okay.
So 20-25
Is there another
days.
character coming along with that as well?
Every new season gets a new character, but they canceled 2 unannounced games. They canceled, what was that Battle Royale game, Scott? It was fast paced. Right? And
what was it called? It's still on my
yeah, it's one of those. I'm like, I know I can't believe it's whatever. But where's X Defiant? What's the division?
Unfortunately, that's the point we're trying to make, is that I don't remember that game. It's already
Hyperscape. That's what it is.
I want to say Hexen, but that's something entirely different.
So yeah, a lot of questions. Scott, there isn't one question about this at all, though. We do have one massive game out today. What is it?
That's right. We have God of War Ragnarok, and that's on PlayStation 4 and 5.
That's right.
And you've been very excited about that.
Oh, yeah.
This week now.
Happy God of War Ragnarok Day, everybody. Go check out our full review if you want to catch that. It's over on our website, insidethegame.ca, or on our YouTube channel. There's lots to talk about. We'll be working on a spoiler cast here very, very soon with Steve Vegvari joining us, and on that one, I'm very excited to talk about everything God of War. I'm going for the platinum, Scott. But just like that, the show is over, so you can always join us. And until tomorrow, I'm Drew. That's Scott. We'll see you inside the game.